Good morning, folks. We're going to try our best here. Going to try our best to have a good stream. My internet's been very weird. If you're wondering what took so fucking long. Internet has not been good. I'm getting like, I don't see like half the shit I usually see here. And I'm not sure what the deal is, really. No, really, I got 11 a.m. error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Then over here, I got 3 frame drop notifications. What the hell's going on? All right, today we're going to do a 7-round mock draft for every NFL team. So all 32 teams, we're going to do a 7-round mock draft for all 32 of them. And I just lost a monitor. What the actual hell is going on? Fuck it, we'll do it live. Nico's hacking my stream. Am I excited to be JD Vance tomorrow? That sounds like a legitimate threat on my life. That's one of the scariest things anyone's ever said to me. So you're looking amazing today. Thank you. All right, guys, just a reminder, we'll be live tonight to watch the games here on YouTube and playback.tv/slightlybiased. If you really want to participate in the chat, playback.tv/slightlybiased is the best way to go about that. But you can watch it here. you know, it's also a way for you to sort of pause the stream, catch up if you fall behind, which is I know it's a problem. I know you guys get annoyed by that shit. Also, if you want to watch the VODs of all of our live games, you can. It's on the channel. You do have to be a member, but, you know, that's that. You can watch the clips of the live streams over on the Slightly Biased Clips channel, so on and so forth. Let's get into the damn day. So it looks like you didn't sleep very well last night. You know, I actually didn't. Went to sleep late. These late games are just kicking my ass. Went to sleep late. But also, I want to say there was a storm last night that woke me up, but I honestly... I want to say there was a storm that woke me up, but I'm not entirely sure. Like, I vaguely kind of remember it, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, and my cat threw up last night, so that also woke me up. So that's where we're at. I'm putting my hair up. It's too much. I went to bed early during the Lakers W. The problem with the late games too is it's not like I can just like go to sleep immediately right after. You know, there's usually like an emotional come down from playoff basketball games. You know, you make a bowl of fruit and a peanut butter jelly sandwich, burn the midnight candle. So the Wolves have so many good defenders. Why can't they stop Luka? Because Luka's Luka. Nobody can stop Luka besides Luka. Does that make sense? Let's go. All right, hot start. Hot start. Hmm. 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 Is this a word? Okay, all right. That tells us a lot. Bradley, welcome to the Slightly Delusional Club. Gotta at least try them out. Trying to think about what the second letter is. Because it's interesting. It's an interesting selection of second letter options. No L, no H. With O as a third letter. Immediately I think R, H, maybe an L. But now we have to readjust. Is it a double O situation? And then we have boom, 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 boom. You know, that could be the case. Woke. You know. Google. Google. Goop. I'm not sure about a double O situation. Could this be a IO situation? But then, you know, then we start to get into what's the second to last letter, and that's a situation in and of itself. Biome. What about biome? Oh, man. You know, I'm proud of myself for that guess. I have to be honest with you. Okay. Right. This is a toughie. I am assuming it is, and I'm hoping it is. I'm going back to maybe a 0-0 situation. Swoon, woon, poon. No, I don't think that's right. Noonie. Dooney. I don't think that's right. I don't. A 0-0 just doesn't feel right, guys. It doesn't feel right. Woog. Wooj. Now, could this be a UO situation? Or OUE? I don't know. What is it? Moose? No, it can't be. Wait, you guys don't know either? Dog, if it's ozone, that's insane. That's fucking insane. I never would have got there. That's actually insane that that's the word. Would not have got to ozone. That's a toughie. No, I'm not doing Purtle. We'll do connections, though. Okay, here we go. Immediately off the rip. Gag, act, bit. You guys might be familiar with those over on this channel. Sketch. Boom. Send those 4 in. All right. Easy. Branch, trunk, leaf, root. Are these that easy today? Tail, fur, paw, bean. That's what, these are all things that are on my cat, right? We referred to the beans, the little paw pads. One away. Paw, fur, tail. I mean, muzzle. Things you'd find on a dog. Okay, that was the easiest connections ever. Maybe I'm just that good. Bean, flag, tad, may. Bean, flag, flagpole, beanpole, tadpole. Yeah. Jesus. I got to be honest with you guys. No cheating involved there. No cheating involved. Just incredible skill. Must have been a gimme today. No, I think today's one is actually incredibly difficult, but I'm just that good. Yeah, you can tell I went to the Harvard of the South. Texas Tech. Even as a non-English speaker, I got that shit in like a minute. I mean, do you want a reward? Like, you know, you come in here, I put together one of the greatest performances we've ever seen in the history of connections, and you want a one-up? You know, that's not right. Look at the 2. Imagine if Luka and Kawhi met the Western Conference Finals. Insane. Yeah, imagine. Imagine. Share the MVP award. So are we just going to get those? Those just kind of leak in. Do they always do 6-man first, or do they just mix it up every year? Have they announced like who's like when the awards are going to come out? Do they ever announce that stuff, or is it just random? I always forget. True, our MVP. Let's our MVP. That'd be funny if they did like most improved last. It's like, all right, MVP is actually going third this year because we want to do most improved last and executive of the year second to last. Most improved, DD or Malik or Beasley. Oh, Dyson Daniels. Good morning, folks. It is Wednesday, April 23rd, 11:14 a.m. Central Standard Time. We've got a lot to talk about today. We'll talk a little bit about the playoffs, obviously, and we'll also get into the athletic player survey. Once a year, these things come out. It's always kind of interesting to see what players are thinking. I haven't seen any of the responses to this. I think it came out yesterday. So we'll take a look at that. We'll also talk about some other stuff. I mean, some stuff that just naturally you can't avoid. But we got to bring up the confidence meter sheet. We are game twos. We are into game twos of these series now. Most of these series have had a game two. We have a few game twos tonight. Cavs in Miami tonight. You've got Boston and Orlando tonight. It sounds like Tatum's might not play in that game. I guess we'll have to wait and see there. We also have the Warriors and the Rockets game two tonight. So a lot to be learned from those series. Let's start with some of the others. We're going to update our confidence meter sheet here. Just see where we're at with some of these, some of these series so far. 6 months ago, LeBron went to Dallas. AD begged to be on the Mavs. When they said no, he went to Adam Silver to plot stealing Luka. I doubt that happened. And then, of course, I mentioned this at the top of the stream, but we are going to get into a full 7-round mock draft for all 32 NFL teams. So hopefully that'll have us done by tomorrow morning, and then we can move on. So just one competitive game tonight then. Well, Boston, even with Tatum listed as doubtful, is a 10.5-point favorite, which is actually kind of nuts. The Cavs are 12.5-point favorites. Houston is a 3.5-point favorite. So we'll see. But yes, it does sort of feel like there might be one good game. Maybe we go live on playback.tv/slightly biased around halftime of the Heat Cavs game. I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see what those other games are looking like. But, Warriors Rockets starts at 8:30. Oh, thank God. Thank God for that. Not a 9 p.m. start time. Whew. Whew. All right, let's start here. This is the first one on our sheet. The Memphis and OKC series. It was another blowout win for the Thunder. The 70-point differential so far through the first two games. The Thunder are just absolutely annihilating. After game two, OKC in 4. We're not wavering off of this whatsoever. 100%. 100%. You know, it's crazy because I don't even think the Thunder played very well in that game last night. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Shea had another pretty inefficient game from the field. That's 2 games so far this postseason where Shea hasn't shot well percentage-wise, and yet they still absolutely dominated the game. It's just, you know, the Grizzlies just aren't on another. I've said it's like the 16 versus 1 matchup in college. Like they're so far apart. Which is insane because the Grizzlies were like a top 2-3 seed for a lot of the season. And I know that they've had their ups and downs. Jalen Wells being hurt, like, legitimately sucks for them. Because he was their best perimeter defender all season long. But, I think this is the most uncompetitive series we have. Which is saying a lot because there's like a team that's almost 10 games under 500 in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. And I think this is the most uncompetitive series we have. It's not even remotely close. It's like they're playing different sports. The Grizz GM should work as a scout for a team. Great drafting, not great at other stuff. The thing about the Grizzlies, and this is what sort of the conversation's been, trading Ja Morant, what are they going to do? Here's the thing, and I've landed on this. I would be absolutely shocked if they trade John Morant, and I don't think they should trade John Morant, truth be told. Reason being, do I think John Morant's great? No, I don't. Do I think that their ceiling is capped with him as their best player? Yes, absolutely. There's kind of a difference between, the Grizzlies are a small market team, the Pelicans are a small market team. So what I'm about to say might not make sense because I do think the Pelicans should try to trade Zion. And I do not think the Grizzlies should try and trade John Morant. Reason being, the Grizzlies have made the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years, and they've only won 1 playoff series to show for it. But Zion's never played in a playoff game. So at least with the Grizzlies, you can kind of squint and be like, okay, but if we're healthy and, everything's just going right for us, John Morant can have a season where he finishes like a top 10 player, maybe get some MVP votes, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is making an all-NBA team or some shit. Like, you can squint and see a scenario like that for the Grizzlies, despite how embarrassing this series has gone for them so far. The reason why I say, I see all of the John Morant trade stuff, they're the Memphis Grizzlies. They're probably, if I had to guess off the top of my head, the second smallest market in the NBA behind the Pelicans. Either way, bottom 5, I would say. They're not going to attract a guy like John Morant in free agency. They're not going to... a star is not going to demand a trade and say, trade me to the Memphis Grizzlies. And despite all of his flaws and his faults, I don't think that... I think John Morant is one of the most marketable players in the league. And if you were just to ask any Grizzlies fan or anyone who lives in Memphis, far and away the most popular guy in Memphis, Tennessee. And so because of that, I doubt he gets traded just because the team wants to, unless things are really bad behind the scenes. Does that make sense? And if Ja demands a trade, that's a different conversation. I'm not sure what team would go all in for John Morant, honestly. I don't know about famous. No, John Morant is incredibly popular, man. Incredibly popular. There is absolutely no way that John Morant is not the most popular figure in Memphis. Summary with the 2. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a problem. I think he's a 4, can't play a 5. Yeah, Jaren is the interesting one because paying him the absolutely batshit insane contract that he might earn for himself this offseason if he makes an All-NBA team, which I don't know if he will or not. That's the one right there that will probably tank your team. Right? He has pants down around his ankles, weapon sideways. All right, that's earned you a timeout. Love Bane, but paying him the next is kind of nasty too. I think I like Bane quite a bit, honestly, and I really don't mind that for him. I think it's all bad when you put it all together that they're paying all of those guys. When it's those 3 all getting that money, that's what's bad, right? Individually, I don't think paying Desmond Bane that much money is that bad. I think he's that level of a player, and you pay that level of a player. Now, what's interesting is, and we're going to see with all of the salary cap rules and stuff, Jaren Jackson Jr. is the type of player that teams might look at now and be like, dude, there's no fucking way we can max you. We're going to be a second apron team. We're basically going to be stuck with this roster. This roster's not good enough. There's no way we can pay you that much money. No way at all. You're going to have to work with us a little bit. Which players on the Grizz would play for the Thunder? They're big 3 for sure. Jackson, Ja, and Bane. Well, and then you start to go down the list, and I'm not so sure outside of that. I mean, Chet and Hartenstein are much better than Edey. No, come on. Jackson, Bane, and John Morant are playing on this Thunder. Let's get serious. Let's get serious. Scottie Pippen Jr., I mean, there's times where they need some playmaking off the bench, but Wells, I think, would get some minutes. Wells screams Thunder guy, but he's not healthy right now. No, maybe on Bane. Bane's for sure getting minutes on the Thunder. Come on. I mean, it gets weird when you start doing that because it's like, all right, you put Jaren Jackson Jr. on that team, and then what? What the fuck does their roster look like? I actually thought Jaren Jackson Jr. would at least give OKC a problem, but Chet is just destroying him. Yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr. is just like a solid player, a good player who is frustratingly inconsistent, like mind-numbingly inconsistent. And throughout his career, just call a spade, has not played well whatsoever in big games. Call it what it is. Doesn't rebound. If I was OKC, I would take Bane over Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't think that's crazy at all to say. I think that actually makes some sense. Joel with the $5. I felt a new wave of anger after the trade and have found myself rooting for the Lakers, especially Luka, which I didn't during the regular season. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also the Mavericks are out, so it's really starting to set in. You don't have Mavs basketball to watch. Are we discussing the OKC Grizzlies? Well, it's a thought exercise that I guess people do. I mean, pretending like the Grizzlies big three wouldn't play for the Thunder's fucking nuts. Like, come on, let's get serious. Outside of that, I'm not sure. Do I think Santi Aldama would maybe get some minutes for the Thunder? He's kind of a Thunder guy, 7 foot. You know, can do a few different things on the basketball court. But anyways, this series isn't even remotely competitive. And honestly, it's not even really worth talking about all that much. And I want to say, one of my big takeaways from watching it is, this is, I think, more of a testament to how incredibly good the Thunder are versus how bad the Grizzlies are. You know, regardless of who it would have been in this game, whether it's honestly, even if it was the Warriors maybe would have given them a little bit more problems. But Warriors, Kings, God forbid, Mavs, God forbid. I think either of those teams are getting absolutely smacked. Absolutely smacked. And again, I don't even think the Thunder fucking played that well yesterday. They still won by 19 points. And it wasn't really close. With Kyrie, is a different story. I still think, I don't know, man. I mean, my stance has been the same on this all season long, and that's this Thunder team is disgustingly good. I don't think, admittedly, I'm not entirely sure the Mavs, even with Kyrie, are all that competitive in this series. I just have to be honest with you. I have to be honest. It was more on J-Dub, Chet, and Caruso who carried game 2, especially Dub and Caruso. So, J-Dub, if you're a Thunder fan, right, our Thunder, which I am, of course, yes, the way that J-Dub has looked so far, everything you've needed to see. Now, we'll see what it looks like going up against stiffer competition. But that was the big thing, right? I already knew Hartenstein was going to be fantastic. I already knew Hartenstein was going to open up so many different things for him. You know, Caruso getting a tiny bit of a minute bump, looking great in the postseason. I already knew that was going to happen, especially against a team like Memphis where you can really dial it up and ramp it up. But yeah, J-Dub having a great start, very important. Very important. Is Shea really shooting this better? He's just fucking around. I mean, he's missing shots. Like, he's missing shots so far. So OKC beats Boston. Well, Tatum with this wrist injury now, that might cause him to miss a game. I'm sure he's fine from everything they reported on it. It's a pain tolerance thing more than anything else. But Jaylen Brown with the knee injections. Hot take, Thunder won't be in the finals. I mean, okay. I feel like all of you guys come from a place of hatred with the Thunder, truth be told. Knicks, Pistons. So this series is now tied. I had Knicks in 6. This series is now tied with game 3 of this series coming tomorrow night in Detroit, Little Caesars Arena. That place is going to be rocking. Was really impressed with the Pistons in game 2. You know, a demoralizing 21-0 run in game 1. A couple different ways I think you could go. You could say, guys, look, we were in control of that game. We were playing fantastic. We put ourselves in a position to win game 1 on the road, and we collapsed in on ourselves like a dying star and shit and pissed our pants. And, you know, we did a few stupid things that young teams do, and we'll need to learn from it and move on. Or you could look at that and be like, oh my God, that was horrifying, and I'm now scared, and I now need my diaper changed, and this series is over because, well, it's over. But I was incredibly impressed with their Game 2 performance. That's why you go out and get a guy like Dennis Schroeder to do stuff like that for you. Pizza. Town not getting shots at the end of the game is crazy. And that's been this reoccurring thing with the Knicks, really. What was it? 3 shots in the second half of the game for Karl Anthony Towns when he popped off in game 1, and it was like, the Pistons don't have an answer offensively for Cat popping off. You can already pencil in Brunson for doing Brunson shit. Now, if Cat's popping off, where are the Pistons generating the offense outside of Cade to match that offensively? My thoughts on Cade. Yeah, Cade was awesome in this game. Cade's a really good player. And turnover prone, but just if you're that good out of a pick and roll, you'll play in this league at a high level for years. That's really it. If you can operate in the pick and roll at the level in which Cade does, at his size too, with his skill, he'll be an all-star for the next 10 years. No two ways around it. Who's more disappointing in the playoffs in general, Towns or Randall? Randall played well yesterday. I mean, Julius Randle's been really good so far. But with the Knicks, he was like an all-time playoff sinker. I don't know. I'm still feeling Knicks in 6 in this. I have to be honest with you. A really impressive win by the Pistons in game 2, but we're going to lower the confidence meter quite a bit. But I still think this series probably ends in 6 with the Knicks winning. Knicks in 5. Just need another. 3 shots for Cat. That part of that is Knicks offensively need to do a better job finding Karl Anthony Towns, but he also has to be more aggressive and assertive. We see this all the time with Cat. We see this going back to his time with the Timberwolves. We saw this in the postseason last year with him. Don't you think if Ivy was there, Pistons win in 7? There's an outside chance Ivy could come back late in the series, isn't there? I remember I saw Pistons fans talking about that before the series started. Pistons in 6, put my mortgage on it. Without Towns, JB needs to be better than he already has been. Not fair to him consistently. And yeah, look, Jalen Brunson's just on another fucking planet when it comes to the foul baiting. I actually think he's taken the mantle for the worst in the league at it. It's reaching, honestly, it is reaching Embiid levels. As crazy as that is to say. Game 2 was just and I love him. I love the guy. But game 2 was bad. Was bad. That's like what people who hate basketball talk about. And he's very crafty, and there was a few of them where, like Tobias Harris jumped out on the three-point line. Can't do that. Asar Thompson jumped out on a three-point fake. You can't do that. Those are fouls. But it is the constant falling on the ground, jerking the head back every dribble, man. If he's driving and it's taking him 2-3 dribbles to get to his spot, his head is bouncing back on every single one of those dribbles. It is something else, man. It's an adaptation of the league figuring him out. He has to resort to it. Lots of players' fate sucks. Tobias was good this year. Yes, Tobias defenders stand up. He's had a great impact in this series so far. Stinky second half of game 1, but outside of that, has had a great impact in this series. And this is kind of how the Pistons ended up closing this game, and then also bounce back from that disappointing game 1 is your vets. Tobias Harris steadied the ship, was really solid, and Dennis Schroeder off the bench. 2 guys who have been in playoff games. Some ran with the 5. I think it's a detriment to his game, missing on open lanes to look for fouls. Once he gets ahead, he looks for fouls instead of buckets. I'm not worried about Brunson scoring. It is just annoying watching from time to time. That's just the truth. So, anyways, I'm still confident in the Knicks to win this game. I doubt we'll see Cat that docile in the second half of a game again. Brunson made us completely forget that Trey was a foul baiter. I mean, I don't have a problem with grifting. I've said this a million times. It is a skill, right? Grifting usually happens because teams can't guard you. So you use that to your advantage. Guys playing physical, guys reaching, guys bumping, drawing fouls off of that. As long as it is a foul, I just once it feels like we're really, really bending the rules and really, really going out of our way, that's when it becomes very annoying. And I think Brunson toes that line a lot, where it's like, dude, what are we doing? So I was just wondering, there was a time when Booker was considered the best guard after Luka and Steph, but him individually is so bad this year. Why is that? Or is it just because of the team? I don't know. I think Booker was considered the best, and he was, playing at a really high level. But I think it was also because there was this weird, especially among shooting guards, Brunson or Booker's the best shooting guards. There was this weird stretch where, I don't know, the shooting guard talent, or at least top end talent, wasn't that great. It was kind of like this weird sort of era in the NBA where the shooting guard position was fine, but there wasn't too much like top end talent. And yeah, Donovan Mitchell's been better, and you had the emergence of like Jaylen Brown, really sort of, although Jaylen Brown's probably more of a forward, more of a wing. And yeah, Book had an inconsistent season this year. He's still young, but you kind of forget he's been in the league for so long that, maybe he's starting this sort of athletic, just a little tiny step slower earlier than you would think based off of his age, just because he has been in the league for so long and has played so many minutes. Also has been dealing with like these lingering injuries over the last few years. But Book's still a great player. I mean, any team, I think, would be happy to trade for that guy if he were to be made available. Lakers mini. So the Lakers respond after getting embarrassed in game one with a rock solid game two performance. Although the second half, you look at 36 total points in the second half for the Lakers. You look at that and you're like, okay, can we put together a consistent 48 minutes here? But this was a rock fight of a game. Lakers were incredible defensively, throwing everything at Anthony Edwards. And, this series it's going to be up to Anthony Edwards to pick it apart, dissect the defense. No assists last night for Anthony Edwards, right? We talked about Luke having one assist after game one. Anthony Edwards had 0 assists in this game. Lakers were sending help. Lakers were hard doubling. Lakers were shading over. They were playing zone. I mean, they were doing a bunch of different shit on Anthony Edwards, and it definitely threw him out of a rhythm. Let's see how Anthony Edwards responds. That's really what it's about. We'll see how Anthony Edwards responds. I thought the Timberwolves, Luka popped the fuck off in the first quarter of this game. 31 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists for Luka. He was great. Thought he was great defensively. Thought Luka had a great defensive showing last night, as did the entire Lakers team. But Luka was great defensively. The Hayes situation is going to catch up, sadly. Jackson Hayes stinks. I think it's 17 total minutes in this series so far. He's been horrible. 5 fouls in 9 minutes. He's awful. And yeah, he's really not playable in this series. But fortunately for the Lakers, Rui was good last night, even though he did hurt his face. Probably broke his nose or something is what I was seeing. Had to wear a mask. Hayes fell for a Gobert pump fake from 8 feet out. Yeah, Jackson Hayes stinks. He stinks. Had a stretch where Had a stretch in the second half. He checks in, immediately sets an illegal screen, then sets an illegal screen in the backcourt, 90 feet away from the basket. Why the fuck are you doing that? I don't know. And then gets an egregious goaltend called on him. And he's arguing all of these, guys. He doesn't know the rules. Like I'm telling you guys, he might not know the rules of the game. He might not know the rules of the game. Did I ask you to put Powell in the game and he will give you more than Hayes? Probably. But we've seen the Timberwolves have been content with letting Luka hunt these mismatches and these one-on-ones, and Luka made him pay early, and then they started showing a little bit more help later in the game. The Timberwolves did. Which, again, 1 assist in game 1 for Luka. A lot of that's teammates not hitting shots, but 9 assists in game 2. We'll see how this sort of develops, because I do feel the moment you feel as though you have to start sending help towards Luka, have to start doubling Luka, have to start trapping Luka, blitzing Luka, whatever the case may be, I think you're in a very compromised state. The Timberwolves. I think you're in a very compromised state. Because while I'm like, I don't know, Anthony Edwards needs to figure out the defense the Lakers are throwing at him. I don't have to worry about that with Luka. Problem with Luka trying hard on defense is that he gets noticeably tired by the fourth. Usually those games they are winning by then, but still. Well, now that Luka's not in the Mavericks anymore, I can now just kind of address this and not pretend like it's a non-issue. That, yeah, I think some team strategy is, we'll let Luka, do his thing, hunt mismatches, go to work early in the game, and yeah, he'll put up a ton of points, but by the second half of the game, we're betting that he'll be gassed. The conditioning piece, Russello, we're going to bank that he'll probably be a little bit gassed, and we're going to put him in action defensively. And again, I thought he was great. Last night defensively. We're gonna wear him out, and we'll just bank that in the third, fourth quarter, you're not going to be as good as you were in the first and second quarter. And that's really been the case. I mean, that's been the case his whole career. That's just the truth. But when you outscore, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but Luka outscored the Timberwolves by himself in the first quarter. How many times? Like, I feel like Luka's got to be towards the top of the all-time list on guys who have outscored entire teams by himself in one quarter in a playoff game. I mean, we got to be towards the top historically. But when you build a lead like that, because Luka's popping off, maybe it doesn't matter if he's gassed in the second half. He's done it 3 times in the last 4 years. Well, game 7 against the Suns, he for sure did it. Game 5 against the Timberwolves last year, he did it. I think it definitely matters a little. No, when the games get close, yeah, definitely, but most egregious part of Nico terrorism, AD LeBron have been playing since bubble, but we assume AD Kyrie are guaranteed finalists. I don't care about that stuff today, to be honest with you. So anyways, yeah, and the Lakers are one of these frustrating ass teams where it's just like, well, we realized we had to be physical and we really had to buy in and try harder on defense. It's like, you really needed to be reminded that. You needed to be reminded that. OKC tried hard every night. The Lakers tried hard 20 out of 82 games max, paid millions for minutes, and they can't even do that. They bought what everyone was saying. Game 1, thought they could just show up. Yeah, and they are at an athletic disadvantage in this series. And probably a physicality disadvantage in this series. And I will say this. The Lakers looked gassed at the end of this game. This was a rock fight. Very physical. Drag them out. If this series doesn't go long, which I absolutely think it's going to, I don't know. By game 6, game 7, that would concern me a little bit for the Lakers. Because I feel better about the Timberwolves' chances in a long series that's like this. Just in terms of handling the physicality. Lakers don't have a 5. There's a ceiling to that, especially playing with Luka. No solid pick and roll. I mean, yeah, that's what prevents them from, I think, being a real finals contender. But they could definitely win this series. And that's also kind of where I'm at, AP, right? I do think that the longer the series goes, I think it is worse for the Lakers just from a physicality standpoint. But also the longer the series goes, what am I going to pick against Luka and LeBron in a Game 7 at home? Now, to be fair to the Timberwolves, we said that last year about the Nuggets. And they did win in dominant fashion. It was gassed last year by the conference finals. We're talking about a round 1 series. That's another factor as well. Julius Randle's been fantastic so far. And hey, maybe this is just it. Maybe he's figured it out. Maybe a change of scenery. You know, Minnesota, he's asked to do a little bit less. Or do we think that there's going to be some games in the coming future where we're like, what the fuck was Julius Randle doing tonight? Also, Gobert. Look, I don't think he was horrible defensively. I mean, obviously the highlights of Gobert getting cooked are going to circulate, but I thought he did pretty well on a few of those possessions. He's got to grab rebounds. How many rebounds did Gobert just not get last night? At least 3 off the top of my head that he either couldn't catch, brought the ball down and got stripped, or just watched roll past them. I mean, that can't happen. I'm still leaning Lakers in 7. But you guys shitted on me for thinking this series would even be competitive. And we'll boost the confidence up a little bit, but I'm still not that confident. Randall's okay yesterday, but I feel like the constant Randall post-ups were not efficient on offense. I'm confused why they went to it so much. Well, because they're showing so much help for Ant, so someone else has to do something. I did think Julius Randle was good, but sometimes it took a while to get going. It is a slower pace offense. Nobody doubted this would be competitive. It's the Houston versus Warriors that we all said would be easy peasy for the Dubs. No. People absolutely were incensed that I said Lakers in 7 instead of like Lakers in 4 or Lakers in 5. You guys were listening to a sex pest. Think about that. Indiana, Milwaukee. Oof, man. My initial prediction was Indiana in 7. After game 1, I changed it to Indiana in 5. Now the Pacers are up 2-0 in the series, which, you know, they're the home team. They took care of business. I refuse to think Giannis will get swept. Do you guys remember when the Blazers beat the Lakers game 1 in the bubble that year, and then Chuck said it was going to be a sweep? Mind you, the Lakers won the championship that year. Doc said he wasn't worried. Yeah, Doc said he was insanely confident about this series. Let's see what he said. I mean, what are you going to say, though? Doc Rivers isn't worried. I'm very confident about this series. Very.
Starting some of the struggles there. Clearly, you've switched it up in the second half, right? To go with, I mean, I guess you just start game 3 and trust that adjustments will be made and things.
We'll just see. You know, we have time. We have 48 hours. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing right now because I don't know. You know, but we'll figure it out. I'm very confident about this series. Very.
I mean, what do you expect the coach to say, really? Not even going to jinx my team, especially after what happened last playoffs. Pacers in 5. You almost got me there, Conker. You almost got me there. Oh, man. Giannis has looked great. Looks like one of the most unstoppable players in the entire sport, which he is. I struck because of that. I can't in good faith pick the Bucks to get swept, but they are. I mean, they're just the Pacers are just a much better team than them. Game in this sort of compromised state wasn't good last night at all. Him being back, I think, is big though, and you know he's probably just not going to be at a. It's tough when you haven't played in a month. Come back into playoffs, the Pacers are flying around the court. you are getting hunted every fucking time down the floor. And we're getting cooked. I mean, Dame was getting cooked defensively yesterday. And, in Dame's defense, Brook Lopez was getting cooked as well. I mean, they're just not, they don't have the guys to compete defensively with this Pacers team. So you really need Dame scoring to be, you got to match them basically. I would say in 5 as a Pacers fan. I think that's kind of where I'm still at. I still think we're in 5. Milwaukee gets one on the road at home, and then Indiana closes it out at home in Game 5. That's sort of where I'm at. I can't, in good faith, pick a sweep here, but the Pacers look like a better team through and through. Again, Brook Lopez slow as fuck, slow as hell. Just everybody in the starting lineup for the Pacers scored over 15 points. It's just taking turns. It's picking apart this slow-ass Bucks defense. They did bring it. That's true. Dame hit a 3 that made it a 2-point game. So it's not like Game 1 was eye-opening. The Bucks got pounded. The Bucks did make a comeback, and I will not call it a fake comeback because Dame hit a 3 to make it a 2-point game with minutes left. That's not a fake comeback. You're in that game. That's winnable. You get a stop at a 3, you're up 1. Right? That's not a fake comeback. But it is just they cut the lead down to 2, and immediately they give up. I think it was 3 straight threes. Maybe I'm wrong there. Nembhard cooked Giannis twice. And they wanted that matchup. And Nembhard cooked Giannis twice to ice the game. Pascal and Nembhard both hit 3s. Yep. Spicy P wide open on a 3. Miscommunication by the Bucks defensively. Just, I don't see it. I don't see a pathway for Milwaukee besides Giannis just going God mode. Miles Turner's the center everyone wants. Yeah, Miles Turner's a massive problem. Any team that defensively has a slow-footed center, a slow-footed big, any team that isn't, bought in's the wrong word, but doesn't rotate well, falls asleep too much, slow in their rotations, doesn't rotate sometimes. A 5-out offense like Indiana is going to pick them apart. We've seen this with Mavs fans in here. We've seen this Indiana offense just absolutely annihilate these Mavs teams that either have slow-footed centers that can't get out or a couple of guys on the court at any given moment who are just sleepy, way too sleepy defensively. Can you believe that if the Bucks lose, they will have lost 4 straight playoff series? No, I can't, and I've never really liked doing this, but I do think we're reaching the point now. I do think we're reaching the point where maybe this is Giannis's last little run here. There's so much smoke now. Maybe this is the end of the road for Giannis. Should we say Giannis to the Lakers? Maybe we should power rank potential Giannis destinations. Because realistically, what's the pathway from here for the Bucks? I mean, you've got nothing. You've got no draft picks to move. You have no interesting young talent. The talent on your roster that you do have is incredibly old and on the downward trend. I also think next year he shows his true self. I mean, there's a team in my mind that I think it depends, because maybe they'll be a little bit more aggressive than we might think, but if the Thunder end up making the finals or winning the finals, I doubt they make any aggressive move, right? But if they wanted to, they have the pieces to get it done. Giannis to LA, sign Nas, and maybe make the Dyson Daniels play. Hell yeah. So this offseason for the Lakers, Giannis, Nas Reed, and Dyson Daniels. Fuck yeah, man. Let's go. Let's do it. Lakers have no assets to trade for Giannis. No, that's not true. They've got Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's under contract. Rui's under contract. Am I missing anyone, guys? You know, as a Lakers fan, I'd be hesitant to give him up. But, you know, Bronny, again, I'm taking out a pick if I'm trading Bronny. That's just kind of where I'm at there. We've seen enough from him to think that maybe he could be a 9th, 10th man in the league at some point in time. So Bronny's off the table. Kleba, yeah, we need Kleba shooting next to Giannis, so Kleba's off the table. Would signing Nickeil Alexander-Walker be good for LA? What's the Lakers' money situation looking like in the summer? I mean, yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker would be a nice pickup for anyone. It feels inevitable that it's Brooklyn. I'm sorry. There's so much smoke around it that it almost feels inevitable. Now, I'm not entirely sure. Look, here's something to consider. I'm not entirely sure why Giannis would do that, but here's something to consider. I think Giannis likes playing GM a little bit. I think we've seen that. I think Giannis likes playing GM, and I think going to a Brooklyn hell-bent on getting Jonathan Kuminga. I promise you, if Giannis presents himself, Brooklyn will say, Jonathan Kuminga, best of luck wherever the fuck you play next, buddy, because it ain't here. Giannis likes New York. That story's been a little too prevalent lately. I don't know if Brooklyn has the win now players. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think Giannis likes playing GM enough that if you go to basically a blank slate in Brooklyn, does another player look at that and say, okay, we can go to Brooklyn? Like, does Brooklyn just become that place where, hey, guys, any of you guys want to form a team? Come here. If any of you guys want to form a team, just come here and do it. Some ran with the 5. I don't know if they don't win the chip and Giannis is around. OKC got to try. I think it's gross misconduct if you don't try. Also, could Mavs put in a package? No, the Mavs have no package for Giannis. None at all. None at all. Sounds like KD, Kyrie, and James Harden all over again. Yep. Now, I don't know if Giannis has that pool with other players around the league that like Kyrie or KD have. AD and Gafford for Giannis. Can you imagine? Like, what the fuck? Can you imagine? We saw Luka, would Nico trade him for Giannis? Absolutely. Not saying he should have. I'm saying, I mean, he traded him for AD. Like, absolutely, he would have tried. Bucks won't do it. They rebuild. They trade for Giannis. Oh, so it's always circumstantial. The Mavs, and look, I don't even want to compare like the Mavs, the Luka trade. I don't even want to bring it up when we talk about trading anybody anymore because it's such an insane trade that we'll never see it again. But the Mavs are trying to remain competitive, so they go out and get AD, and it's less picks. The Bucks will be tearing it down to the studs. There will be no remaining competitive if you trade away Giannis. So they're going to look for 5-6 picks. They're going to look for 5 or 6 picks. They're going to look for young players. It's pretty much OKC or Utah. Well, Brooklyn's got assets. Celtics. I've seen suggestions from people that are like, the Celtics contract situation is going to get so bad that they might package some guys that, like KD was it, or just say, fuck it. we know that we maybe have 2 or 3, like realistically, we don't have a 6 or 7 year window. Like, let's just maximize the next 2 years, then we'll figure it out afterwards. Giannis to New York would be dope, but don't see it. I mean, the Knicks are on the table, I would say, even. I don't know. I think if you're Giannis, if this series does end up ending in 5, or even if you lose this series, period, you really got to look at your situation and be honest with yourself, you know? Got to be honest with yourself. Am I in a position here where I can win? And if not, where can I go to put myself in a better situation? What happened to Dame if Giannis goes? Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, what is Dame's value across the league now? You have a very versatile show like the dinosaur extinction. I think you'll make it out even after the trade, but Nick, prayers. No, Nick's going to be fine, but I do appreciate that. Why not Houston? Yeah, Houston could make a play. Any of these teams that are in contention for star players that you think about, like Houston, will make a push. And yes, the Suns will try to make a trade for him, and they will put themselves into the rumors, I guarantee you. I guarantee you they will push out a report that they themselves made that, hey, the Suns are interested, and we're going to be like, what? Can you guys shut up? Giannis for Tingus Pingus. Giannis, Drew reunion in Milwaukee. All right, and then Clippers, Denver. Holy fuck. I picked Clippers in 6. The first 2 games of this series, there's next to no way this series is not going 7, right? That I think it'd be a gross misjustice if this series doesn't go 7. Now, I will say this, though. If I'm the Clippers, I feel pretty good about what's happened. Because you had game 1 almost the entire way. Let it slip at the end. And then if you look deeper into what happened, it's like Russell Westbrook hit corner threes to ice us and then was making plays defensively. We dared Russell Westbrook to beat us, and he did beat us. Tip of the cap. So I'm random with the 2. I put on Dame to Rockets if Giannis leaves. That'd be interesting. That could be Dame could be a guy that teams look at as like, all right, we'll make a push for Book. He's probably not going to be available. Like, we'll make a push for some of these guards that we might want, but Dame could be sort of this consolation prize where, like, yeah, he's expensive, but draft pick wise and young talent wise, we probably don't have to give up that much. Does that make sense? So the Clippers, despite the game 1, did what you need to do as the lower seed. We won on the road, especially in a tough place. We won on the road. We have home court advantage now. Heading back to LA, the Wall. We'll see what that's all about. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, and that's true. If I'm a Nuggets fan, I'm not sure how bad I feel about this either. I just think this series is going 7 games now. I can't imagine. Kawhi looks unbelievable. And if Kawhi stays healthy, obviously. I mean, that game 2 was on 39 points on 15 of 19 shooting. Like, what the fuck? Just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane when he gets into these modes. Robot. Clippers in 6. Denver will run out of gas. Russ wasn't even bad in their game 2 loss either. It's hard to imagine. This isn't fair to Russ, but let's just call it what it is. It's hard to imagine we don't get at least one game where we're like, what the fuck did Russ just do? Like, you got to maybe factor that game into the equation for our Clippers. For our Clippers. Clippers should drop a game at home so they don't find themselves up 3-1 and get PTSD from the bubble. That's true. Nuggets fans are worried about Murray. I will say, I don't think Jamal's looked terrible in this series so far. 23 points, 9 of 17. I mean, nothing insane stat line wise. You know, but I do think physically he's looked good. I think that two-man game with him and Jokic looks as good as ever. So they've got that going for him. Jokic had an uncharacteristically high turnover game. Clippers defense is incredible, making play. I mean, dude, Chris Dunn, Kendrick Nunn, just flies everywhere. It's insane to watch him play. It's honestly stupid as fuck that he doesn't qualify for an all-defensive team. They need to change that rule. It's the dumbest shit. Why does that apply? That rule needs to go away. I get, the 60 games, whatever, 65 games, that's another thing entirely. You need to play in 20 minutes in these games is stupid. That rule makes no sense. That rule should go away. Why is that a rule? I have no clue why that's, I'm trying to even think why that would be in there as a rule. Kendrick Nunn, who you play for? Well, I say Chris Kendrick Nunn because I always mix those two up. Not that I knew who they were, but for some reason their names, I would always just fucking mix their names up, even when I knew what I was about to do. Is Kendrick Nunn in the league? Did he play this year? Yeah, Ben Simmons did hit a layup. Also, if I'm a Clippers fan, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, we just went to Denver, one of the hardest places to play, and stole a game. We did our job. Russell Westbrook beat us in game 1. Hey, so what? Norm Powell hit some big, big shots, a huge 3 down the stretch of this game. I think it was the game winner, technically, right? EuroLeague MVP. Oh, congratulations to him. But Norm Powell really hasn't gotten going yet. Bogey has yet to hit a shot in this series. And it looks like we're getting... I mean, James Harden's been really fucking good so far in this series. And he's always liable to shit his pants at any given moment. Is there not some concern that you need Kawhi to shoot 75% on contested jumpers to win by 3 and Denver still had chances to win? No, because I think Kawhi can do godlike things on a basketball court at any given moment. So I'm not all that worried about that. I mean, I don't think Kawhi had a good game 1 whatsoever, and they should have won that game. So you could look at it both ways. Bogey's lost right now, but Batum's been picking up the slack. Batum's a hilarious player. Just if there's a big moment, Batum's on the court. It's funny because fourth quarter, I'm yelling, "Why the fuck Batum in?" But if Batum's on the court in the fourth quarter, I feel good. I feel like he's gonna make something happen. Whether that's an insane no dip 3 with 1 millisecond left on the shot clock. If he had this shooting on the Blazers, then yeah, true. I mean, you're right. Relying on mid-range jumpers is scary. Yeah, but you're talking about Kawhi Leonard, man. Like, I get it. If we're coming on, we're like, dude, I mean, yeah, the Clippers got to win, but Bogey had 30 points, was hitting mid-range jumpers. Like, I don't know. I don't think you're going to get it. We're talking about Kawhi fucking Leonard. Like, the only thing you can say, I'm not going to say anything like, oh, well, if Kawhi can't do that every night, if Kawhi, the only thing I'm saying about Kawhi is if Kawhi stays healthy. That's literally it. That's it. If Kawhi stays healthy and finishes the series, I'm not worried about Kawhi, anything he's doing on the basketball court at all. Norman Powell been quite bad. Once he starts playing, I don't see the Nuggets competing. Well, the Michael Porter Jr. situation is strange. And obviously, he had a much better game, too. But that situation is strange. Why are they showing Anthony Davis highlights off to the side here? Oh, this series, if this series goes less than 7, I think I'd be surprised at this point. Kawhi was kind of slow and disappeared in game 1. He just, the double teams fucked him up. What do you have, 7 turnovers in that game? Between Nuggets and Clips, who puts up a better fight versus the Thunder? I guess that's a good question for Thunder fans. Which team, the Thunder are obviously playing the winner of this series, which team do you want to see the least? Now, I would say as a Thunder fan, I don't want to see the Clippers because I think they're the second best team in the West. Now, Jokic is a little scary, right? Playing Jokic in a series. Kawhi isn't going to shoot like this all series. Brother, I don't know if you've experienced how healthy playoff Kawhi, but I'm going to tell you right now, you think that. You think that. You think that. And then he does it. I remember we used to say, I remember 2021, it's like, Kawhi's got to miss a shot at some point, right? Like, at some point, Kawhi's got to miss a shot. Fourth quarter, Kawhi's yet to miss a shot in the series in the fourth quarter. And at some point, he's got to miss. And guess what? He never did. I think if you're OKC, yeah, the idea of seeing Jokic is a little bit scary to you, but I don't think you're scared of this Thunder team at all. Clippers will get run down with so many vets. Nuggets defense is terrible. I really hope these Thunder fans are humbled and soon. I doubt it. I'm going to be real with you. It probably isn't happening soon. Oh, you got your first men's league game tonight, B-Dot? So ran with the 5. Sorry, but most of the chat started watching like the last 2 years. I'm so high on Kawhi. I think if he never got injured, he would be in GOAT convos. Yeah, I think if Kawhi never got injured in his career, now he would have had to have had some type of regular season accolades, and maybe he would have. Maybe he would have a few MVPs sprinkled in there or whatever. I guess the argument against that for Kawhi is, do you think there would ever have been a point in time where you could have really argued Kawhi is the best player in the league? It's difficult to say that now because he's just never been healthy in his career. Yes, now. I mean, there's games you watch Kawhi, you're like, how is this guy not the greatest basketball player that's ever lived? Yeah, the rap 2019, he was absolutely in that conversation. OKC is the most overrated team of all time. I mean, what is the deal? I don't get it. I don't get what are you guys trying to prove? I don't understand. That Thunder hate. I don't understand it, man. They're winning. They're beating a Grizzlies team that just like a couple weeks ago was a top 3 seed, I think, in the West. They are fucking embarrassing them. Like, what do you, like, I get the Grizzlies aren't very good, right? But through 2 games, their average margin of victory is like 35. They're eviscerating them. No, that's cool. You guys can say you don't like them, but there's a difference between, I hate this team and like pretending the team sucks or is like bad or is overrated. Like, just say they're great. They're a great team. I hate them. I hope they lose. That's fine. That's fine. But what's up with this? No, they're actually like bad. OKC, Shea, J-Dub, Chet, and iHeart injury away from bust. Yeah, true. Honestly, think about this. The Magic are a Tatum, Brown, probably need Derek White, Drew Holiday, and KP injury, maybe even Pritchard thrown in there, away from advancing to the next round. And then from there, they're only like a Brunson, probably need Cat, probably need Bridges and Anunoby as well, injury away from making the conference finals. And then from there, you're only a Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, probably need Jared Allen as well. Probably even need Ty Jerome at this juncture. Injury away from then making the finals. Surely Kawhi can't keep this up. Hits some other 16-footer. Yeah, if you think Kawhi can't keep this up, I'm gonna tell you right now, he absolutely can and probably will. Find the Magic. I'm feeling good, all things considered. You factor that into the equation, it's hard to feel bad. To be fair, they were 1 seed last year and swept their first round matchup. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But the Thunder, I've been like, look, if the Thunder won like 50, if this was a weird Western Conference, kind of like it was last year, and the Thunder won like 54 games and were the 1 seed and, you know, had a plus like 7-point differential. Okay, right? Like, sure, maybe I'd a little bit understand like, oh, they were just a little lucky this year, whatever. Dog, they won 68 games and have an all-time advanced metrics, all of this shit. And then they've won their first 2 games by 70 points combined. They're the most likely team to win, in my opinion, but people talk about them as if they are unbeatable, and I think there are some teams that can beat them, Lakers, Clippers, Celtics, and Warriors. I think a final series with the Celtics would be really interesting. Warriors, no. Lakers, no. Clippers, maybe. Clippers would be the team. I like between these two teams, Clippers and Denver. If I'm as a Thunder fan, I don't know if I want to see the Clippers really. They're very scary to me. I just think no one wants a dynasty again, or am I wrong? I think people, you know, there's a lot of different fan bases in here now. That's what's been great about the last few months here is that we have very much spread our wings a little bit. There's a bunch of different fan bases in here. A lot of Lakers fans, call it what it is. A lot of Mavs fans who have a hatred for the Lakers for obvious reasons, or for the Thunder for obvious reasons. People want to believe their Lakers could win. People hate the Thunder. I mean, that's just kind of where we're at. The if he stays healthy argument is so funny. So many imaginary goats through league history. Useless. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you there, but it's always an interesting conversation. Like in Kawhi's case. Kawhi's case is a little bit different because we have seen those absolute incredible peaks. Sometimes the if he was healthy arguments are just built upon players who maybe we didn't see it consistently or maybe we didn't see it at the highest level. What about Mavs fans with a hatred for the Mavs? That's a very prominent group. Is Kawhi the least hated player ever for how good he is? Maybe the better conversation for that is because maybe better conversation for that is least talked about. Because I do think Kawhi has a game like he did a few nights ago, and it's just like, oh my God. And it's like, yeah, that's who this guy fucking is and has been when he's on the court. And you just kind of like, you know, you do kind of forget it. You forget it. Steph is the least hated. I think in terms of megastars, Steph's approval rating is very high. Although there are vocal haters, of course, of Steph. In the grand scheme of things, for being as famous as he is, as big as he is, yes, his approval rating is incredibly high. Just in terms of like, if you were just to poll, I don't know, someone who's not like a diehard NBA fan or something, I think they would say, yeah, I like Steph. After game 2, I'm sticking Clippers in 7. I'm sticking like 53%. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's gone up a little bit, 57%. They've done their job. Steph's the most overrated megastar in the league. We'll see what game 2's have in store tonight for us. Hey, if you're the Magic, if Tatum doesn't play, this is a chance to squeeze one out here. Sneak one out. Goes without being said, if you lose tonight, go down 2-0 and Tatum doesn't play, then, you know, I don't think you have a chance to win the series anyway, but Heat Cavs. Super sim this fucking series. Warriors Rockets game 2. Let's go. Let's go. It sucks because tomorrow. Okay, so we'll be live on playback.tv/highlights as well as here tonight. But I will not be live tomorrow night. I'll be live on Bleacher Report to talk about the fucking Mavs. But won't be live tomorrow night because of softball, unless it gets rained out, which might be a possibility. I'm not sure. Which sucks because Knicks Pistons game 3 in Detroit. That's going to be a must-watch TV. Thunder Grizzlies game 3. You can get into that game for $9. Oh my god. That is something else. $9 to get into a playoff game. Just for a frame of reference, cheapest ticket to get into the Pistons game, $142. And let me make sure this isn't some standing room type of shit in Memphis. And I'm just hating. Terrace level? No, yeah, you can get, wow. You can get lower bowl tickets for $50. You can, wait, am I reading this correctly? You can get courtside seats for $200. Courtside, what? You can sit courtside for $299. That's actually insane. And tickets should be cheap, so I'm not shitting on that. But it does just kind of show where Memphis is at. You know, it does show a little bit. I mean, that's insane. For that price, you might stake the event. I mean, there's no way. I would say, obviously, that's a lot of money. $300 to sit courtside. That's a lot of money. But if you were in the area and did just have $300 to spend, I would say go to that. A chance to sit courtside at a playoff game. That's insane. But we'll also miss Nuggets Clippers game 3 tomorrow night. That one hurts. And then Friday, I'm going to a wedding, so I'll miss game 3 of the Lakers Timberwolves series, miss game 3 of Bucks Pacers, miss game 3 of Celtics Magic. You know, Bucks Pacers, I'm still interested in. I don't think that series is necessarily over. But yeah, damn, gonna miss my two favorite series right now: Lakers Timberwolves and Nuggets Clippers. Gonna miss game 3 of both of those series. Fuck. Assuming softball doesn't get rained out. My dad doesn't like Kawhi, but I'm here for it. I've always loved Kawhi. He's always been one of my favorite players in the league. Nothing but respect for him. Let's read this. The Athletic player poll. They do this at the end of every season. It is always quite interesting. No, $1 a month? No. No. I was just reading this on my update my password. I literally opened this up on my laptop a second ago to make sure that I didn't need to pay for it, and it worked perfectly. So maybe I do have. Wait a second. Maybe I do have this. I got an Athletic. Let me log in here. I think I do. I think I am cooking. I do have an Athletic membership. I need Rocket Mortgage or whatever that shit is. Whatever that is. All right. Anonymous player poll. The Athletic does this every year. I have to say I am sort of dreading some of these answers because I just have to imagine. Some of them probably include a trade that happened earlier in the season. Just unfortunately feel that way. We're gonna spend $9 on a Starbucks coffee instead of $1 on the Athletic. Hey, buddy. Hey, I make my own coffee. Thank you very much. I haven't spent money at Starbucks in months. All right, respect the boycott, bro. Seriously. They did a special article on the trade. Oh, really? Okay. So here we go. Anonymous. How many players got asked? 158 players, over 1/3 of the league. Wow. Players from all 30 teams represented from early March through mid-April. We asked their opinions. So here we go. Oh, they asked about gambling. All right. Let's see. Who is the MVP? Wow. Okay. Shea wins 56%. I was going to say it's a little surprising, but I guess not if you're pulling players. So who the fuck voted Donovan Mitchell? So I have to ask if who the fuck voted LeBron James? Cade also received a vote. Steph received a vote. Let's just do some math here. What's 1.9% of 155? Is that like 2 votes, maybe? 3 votes, I think. So 3 people voted for Donovan Mitchell to win MVP. Donovan Mitchell, Gary Scarlett, and Jared Allen. Congratulations to those guys. Some players could be trolling. So Shea wins this. I haven't checked the MVP tracker thing in a while. It does seem like Shea is going to win MVP. SGA voters, you've got to go with Shea. It's the number 1 team in the West, and the way he's been doing it has been impressive. He's taken these young guys to another level. Consistency. He also stands out on a team, which is so great. That's why he would be the MVP for me this year. I love Jokic, but I feel like Shea deserves it. I thought Shea deserved it last year. Both of them deserve it. I think the benefit of the doubt has to go to Shea. It's got to. I'll give it to Shea just because last year and in the past few years, it has been Jokic, but they're both playing at an incredible level right now, just passing it along to the next generation. Shea's the next generation. Let's see what Jokic voters have to say. It's the same thing that's been the case for the last 3 MVPs that Jokic has won. I think he impacts his team to where he fundamentally changes the way they play and impacts the game the way he does. Without another all-star, I think it's incredible. The on-off speak for themselves. The Nuggets net rating, 19.8 points per 100 possessions, better high with Jokic on the floor versus 11.5 points higher for the Thunder. He's had better numbers in the last 3 times he's won MVP, and if you take him off the floor, his team is not nearly the same. He just impacts the game at every level, passing, rebounding. People say he's bad on defense. He's not bad on defense when he tries. Do we really believe NBA players talk like this? Well, I'd have to imagine it's probably just like a Google Doc thing, and then they just type out the answers. Ray with the $9.99. Can we get you and Nick to co to produce an alternate Lakers playoff podcast? Just can't get into Locked On Lakers. I tossed that idea out to Nick to do just like an ex-Mav check-in segment on their shows during this point of the season where there's not a lot to talk about right now. Like an ex-Mav check-in where you can frame it as we're just checking in on ex-Mavs, but really you're following Luka a lot. You're following Luka, and I don't think he really wanted to do it. SGA has been horrible in the playoffs, and OKC is blowing the Grizzlies out. Yeah, because the OKC Thunder are fucking insane. Which team other than your own will win the title this season? Wow. Okay. Celtics overwhelming favorites here. That doesn't surprise me that much that the players would feel that way. Now let's see. NBA odds. Let's see like what the odds are looking like through 2 games. Where are we at with the finals favorites? Team futures champion. The Thunder are plus 155 to win the NBA finals right now. Celtics plus 190. So those two are pretty neck and neck. And then the Cavs are third plus 650. So no surprise that these 3 teams are the top. Then the Lakers, Nuggets, Warriors, Bucks. Bucks? All right, those are Bucks players. Timberwolves. The Grizzlies, in case you're wondering, have the lowest odds. Rockets, this is so interesting to me. Down 1-0 in the series, to be fair. But plus 1,400. Health is the most important question for the Celtics. I definitely think they are the favorites if they are healthy. Just don't know if that's going to be the case. You got to be you can't help but be a little bit concerned about the Jaylen Brown stuff, especially when we're talking about one getting through an Eastern Conference that it's going to be much more competitive this year than it was last year. That much is certain. Like you're probably going to get a Knicks team in round 2. Whereas last year, who did the Celtics play in round 2? Last year, you got to beat up to shit. A beat up to shit Bucks team in round 1, right? What am I misremembering? Or Heat team in round 1? Yeah, Cavs in game 2. Last year was a joke in the East. They got lucky. Oh yeah, and then Donovan Mitchell was hurt in that series. Yeah, that's right. It's all coming back together. The Celtics were dominant, and I think they would have won anyways, but they definitely had a much easier path to the finals than they will have this year. That much goes without being said. And then on top of that, look, I love my Mavs. The Thunder, if the Thunder do make it through, will be a much tougher opponent in the finals than the Mavs were for the Celtics last year. So Jaylen Brown being compromised is like make or break. Could be make or break for them. We'll see. All right, Luka Doncic, I'm sorry. We cannot compare Luka's defense to Kawhi at his peak. I'm sorry. That's insane to do. Like, this is where you start to lose people, man. I'm telling you guys, Luka stands, this is where you start to lose people when you start doing shit like this. It's where people start to fall off a little bit. Like, they got one defensive player of the years. He has great numbers in isolation. That's great. You're comparing Luka's defense to a guy who's won defensive player of the year and is one of the best perimeter wing defenders in the history of the sport. Okay? Let's be honest with ourselves. Just so let's be honest. Like, we're doing a disservice to Luka. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to Luka to say those type of things. Voters who chose the Celtics, their team chemistry is great. They have a lot of superstars on that team, and they consistently know their roles. They kind of put their egos aside and just win games. I personally think Boston will pull it out because they've been there and they're more experienced, but I think Cleveland's going to give them a run for their money for sure. They look really good. Voter who chose the Warriors. The way they're playing with Jimmy is a new variable into the gameplay, and Jimmy's a good variable. Not only that, Steph and those guys have been battle tested before. Who did this? Is that Clay, you think? What about the guy who voted the Timberwolves? Can we hear from him or the Bucks? Can we hear from those guys? Those are the voters I'm interested in hearing their opinion about. Clay, yeah. Jimmy, 5 years from now, who will be the face of the league? Victor Wembanyama, overwhelming favorite. Anthony Edwards, Shea, Tatum, Doncic, Paolo, Cade, Ja Morant. Others receiving votes. Scotty Barnes, Matas Bazulis, Kevin Durant in 5 years. Who the fuck voted Kevin Durant to be face of the league in 5 years? There would have to be a massive war that broke out where there was a draft, a mandatory draft, where anybody from the ages of 18 to 35 had to go into the military. And you now have an NBA where it's only 35-plus-year-olds. That's the only way that Kevin Durant would be the face of the league in 5 years. And God bless him. Chet Holmgren, Zachary Reese-Shea, Shaedon Sharpe, Zion Williamson. Who voted for Shaedon Sharpe? I need to hear about who voted for Kevin Durant. That's the guy I want to hear from. But yeah, wouldn't be face of the league in 5 years. Absolutely. I really hope the Spurs make the playoffs next year. I really, really, really hope the Spurs make the playoffs. But I think Ant's a little bit too much of a loose cannon. And you know what's funny about the Ant thing? Where it's like, you know, Ant doing the my dick's bigger than yours thing. If it came out that like Jordan said that to a fan, everyone would be like, oh my God. Hell yeah. He's so good. He's so nasty. He's like, that's the type of competitor that he is, right? But it's on camera. Ant does it. Everyone's like, ugh. Have you seen Ant's bulge? He's right. Okay. Moving on. Almost everyone seems to agree that San Antonio's Victor Wembanyama is the chosen one, but the health scare that ended the season in mid-February seemed to re-spark the discussion about who else might be in the running. So is there, okay, can someone adopt in the chat? Is the blood clot thing, I know that everyone automatically defaults to Chris Bosh and just how scary that whole thing was and literally career ender. But, I mean, if he recovers from this, should he just be fine moving forward? We're not looking at Anthony Edwards' bulge, guys. I mean, come on, guys. Can we fucking focus? We're not about to go look at Anthony Edwards' bulge. Like, come on. This is getting egregious in the chat. 90% of the time, yes. He should be fine. Okay. Who is the league's most overrated player? Poor Tyrese Halliburton. Rudy Gobert. Everyone hates Rudy Gobert. Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal. I don't think too many people are overrating Bradley Beal. Draymond Green, Ja Morant, Julius Randle, Joel Embiid, Giannis. That's just hate. Dylan Brooks. Who's overrating Dylan Brooks? Paul George, Tyler Hero, Drew Holiday. Drew? Jared Jackson Jr., LeBron, Kyle Kuzma. Who's overrating Kyle Kuzma? Sabonis. Get me in contact with that voter. Zion. No one who reached the NBA is overrated. How about that answer? I play sports with a 199. Like this comment for a slightly Luka channel. Ain't happening. Straight up haters. Absolutely. Other players who received votes: LaMelo, Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Josh Giddey, Jock Landale. Who the fuck voted Jock Landale most overrated? Dude, that Jock Landale, you have a hater. Somebody in the league hates your guts. You think Jock Landale looked at this and was like, what the hell? Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, and Franz Wagner. Poor Tyrese Halliburton. I do not think Tyrese Halliburton is one of the most overrated players in the league. And you want to know who I think actually is? Jaren Jackson Jr. would be my pick, honest to God. Just really been on a Jaren Jackson Jr. hate trip lately. I'm not entirely sure why that's the case. Franz, maybe I've been guilty of overrating Franz a little bit. Do we have no comments on Tyrese Halliburton being overrated? I feel like this feels like a common sort of thing that I could see NBA players, especially guards, having. I don't understand the defensive player of the year stuff when you don't guard the people who have the ball most of the time. The ones who are making most of the decisions. A player who chose Gobert for most overrated said, I just don't see it, nor does he strike any fear in me in my heart as a defender. Well, that's Draymond Green. Okay. They just call a spade a spade. Draymond Green is the one who said that. Who is the league's most underrated player? Cade Cunningham. All-star, going to be an all-NBA guy this year. I don't know. Derek White. Yeah. Just sort of perpetually underrated. Norm Powell. Reeves. Drew, who got overrated votes. Jaren Jackson Jr., who got overrated votes. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not underrated. Lou Dort. Trey Murphy. Not bad. Pritchard. Kaysen Wallace, yeah. Aaron Wiggins, yeah. Jalen Williams, yeah. J-Dub. Jared Allen, Denny Avdia, Jaylen Brown, Tumani Kambara, Tyson Daniels, Jalen Green, Tyler Hero, Ty Jerome. Najee Marshall, all right. First Maverick mention. First Dallas Maverick we have seen mentioned here. How about that? Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Jason Tatum, Amin Thompson, and Franz Wagner, and then everybody in the fucking league got a vote. I'm just gonna skim through some of these guys. Harrison Barnes got an underrated vote. Bull got an underrated vote. Thank you for voting, Bull. Thanks for voting. Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Clark got a most underrated player nod. Literally looks like every single player in the league damn near got one. I'm trying to see if there's like a crazy one. Nikola Jovic, my most improved player pick this year, I think he was. Or maybe not, but I considered it. Jordan Miller. Okay. The Thompson twins. Trendon Watford. Brandon Williams got a vote. Somebody voted Brandon Williams. How about that? Who voted B. Will? I think, it might have been John Morant. Who is the league's best organization? Golden State Warriors win this award, with the Thunder coming in second. Boston Celtics third, Clippers fourth. This is telling. Heat culture. They find their way up here. Lakers, Spurs, Cavs, Bucks, Jazz, and surprisingly getting multiple votes. The Mavs are here, tied with the Pacers, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Magic, and Suns. Who the fuck voted the Suns? Hawks, Nets, Nuggets, Rockets, and Blazers also got a vote. So which teams didn't get a vote? Hornets, Wizards. Any like competitive teams not get a vote? I'm trying to think about teams that are in the playoffs right now that maybe didn't get a vote, and none are coming to my head. Nuggets only getting one vote is interesting. Rockets only getting one vote is interesting. So interesting that we're still getting the Mavs are still getting votes. As many votes as a Pacers team, as a Grizzlies team that's been pretty well ran, I would say, all things considered. No Pistons. Yeah, no Pistons. Yeah, wow. No Knicks. Are we missing that? Nobody voted the Knicks as the league's best organization. Interesting. That's surprising. Dolan? Yeah, I guess. Well, also because when you walk up to the stadium, you guys have seen that. When you walk up to the stadium, you have to walk up half a mile of a fucking hill to get into the garden. So maybe that's it. I would love to hear somebody it's all cool. Let's ask guys about the Thunder, guys. Ask guys about the Warriors. Ask about who voted for the Mavs. Ask about who voted for the Suns. That's the answer I want to hear. Who's the league's worst organization? Okay. Yeah, no 76ers on here as well. Yeah, I know they were terrible this year, but Hornets, number one by a lot. That's unfortunate for our Charlotte Hornets. Wizards, yeah. Pelicans, yeah. Kings, yeah. I'm surprised the Kings aren't higher on this list based off all the things we heard about them. Sixers, yeah. Then here comes the Mavs at 4.4%. Yeah. Bulls, Knicks on one of the league's worst organizations. So that's far and away the most competitive team we've seen so far. Grizzlies, Jazz, with others receiving votes. Pistons, Clippers, and Suns get a vote. Clippers, really? That's a little bit surprising to me. That someone would vote them as the worst. That's a hater. That's a full-fledged hater. And Paul George, probably. If I had to guess, probably Paul George. All right, so the Mavs, surprised they're not a little bit higher. But surprised they got votes for the best organization. Hornets being the worst doesn't surprise me. When will something good happen for my Charlotte Hornets, man? Come on, Cooper Flag, let's go. Wizards being that high doesn't surprise me, although it does feel like they're kind of turning a corner a little bit just in terms of their perception. I will say, based off of pure dysfunction and stuff that we've heard from behind the scenes stuff, the Mavs obviously are high up there. I think the Kings feel like they're the worst. And that's tough because they actually have expectations. So the teams that have expectations that flame out will always end up feeling worse than a team like the Hornets who have nothing going for them whatsoever. I think the Hornets probably deserve to be last here. But I think I'd have the Kings pretty fucking high. How are the Nuggets and Bucks not on there? No votes for the Nuggets as the best organization. No votes for them as the worst. So they're just the most mid. I want to see, what are people saying about Charlotte? Not a lot of quotes. You don't really know. You could be a losing program, but still be a great organization. Some players declined to answer this question because they said they don't have enough reliable information to make an informed judgment. Oh. Another said, I feel like until you're there and you go through it, you don't really know what's considered a bad organization. That's very insightful and fair. Aside from your own current coach, who is the best coach in the league? Dagnall, by far, number one. Atkinson, Spoelstra, Mazzulla. It looks like every coach in the league got votes here. Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, Pop. Ime Udoka, not that high up. I think opposing players probably hate Ime Udoka. Bickerstaff, JJ Redick, Michael Malone. Chauncey Billups, Taylor Jenkins. Others receiving votes. Adam Kaporn, Wizards assistant coach. Rick Carlisle, Chris Finch, Will Hardy. Oh, look, there he is. Kid got a vote. Kid got one vote. Interestingly enough, low on this list, Jamal Mosley, why do they consider a great coach? Tom Thibodeau only got one vote. But Dagnall being far and away number one here is not that surprising, really. He's getting them all to buy in and have fun playing together. One player said of Dagnall, who tied for 7th place in last year's poll and has led the Thunder to the West top seed in 2 years in a row. They enjoy the game. They have fun with each other. They play for each other. It's like a group effort, and I think it starts with the coach on down when you see something like that. Aside from your own current coach, oh, man. Aside from your own, this is fucked up. So only 73 votes here. So half of the pollers did not feel interested in answering this question. Aside from your own current coach, who's the worst coach in the league? Please don't have Jason Kidd on here. Brian Keefe is number one. That's sad. Mike Budenholzer is number two, comfortably. Then Doc Rivers. They're done with the dinosaurs. Charles Lee, which is surprising because I think I've heard all of the stuff I have heard from Hornets this year is that they do like Charles Lee. Nick Nurse, I think infamously not a player-friendly coach. Tom Thibodeau, same thing. Darko, Doug Christie. Jordy Fernandez is a little bit surprising. Michael Malone, who voted them? They saw the future. Chauncey Billups, Rick Carlisle, worst coach in the league. That's Luka. Luka sent that one in. Chris Finch, Will Hardy, Steve Kerr, and Ty Lue. Who's voting Ty Lue as the worst coach in the league? As one player say, coaches can be handicapped by health and front office. Nick Nurse is a good coach, but he doesn't have the players right now. It's worth noting that a majority of the players who polled declined to answer this question. One of them said, I'm not answering because I think the coaches are really good now. You could pick one of the bottom feeders like redacted coach from a bad team, but I've had him as a coach, and he's good, and it's not his fault. Yeah. Literally half of the guys didn't vote for that one. Which player in the league would you least like to fight? James Johnson is the overwhelming. And James Johnson does MMA stuff, doesn't he? So James Johnson, far and away, the leader here. How about that? Killer Kid, no votes for worst coach in the NBA. That makes me happy. James Johnson stuns UFC fans with undefeated MMA and kickboxing record. 20-0 in kickboxing, 7-0 in the MMA. Good for James Johnson. Wait, is he like a professional MMA fighter? Is he professional MMA? Is this him? It says he's 1-5 here. But this might not be him. 2009. There's no way that's him, right? It's a different James Johnson. Isaiah Stewart, yeah. Steven Adams, yeah. Lou Dort, Jalen Duren, Brooke Lopez, Zion. Who else received votes? Goga, Steph Curry. Who? Excuse my language here. What pussy voted Steph Curry, man? You're in the NBA. You're like 6'7". Draymond, Javonte Green, and LeBron. I feel like Draymond should be higher because I feel like he could tap into this. Like, my brain turned off when I accidentally killed somebody on the basketball court level. James Johnson just, knows fighting. So, Adam Silver would send snipers if someone fought Curry. That's interesting. That's a good point. Continues to strike fear. In this three-point revolution age, are analytics good or bad for the game, and why? So 38% said bad, 33% said somewhere in the middle, only 28% said good. Let's see what players have to say about this. Players who say analytics have been bad for the game. The game is art. It's like telling a painter you have to include the numbers with your imagination. It hurts your creativity. This is art. It's painting on a canvas. You might tell somebody the three-point shot and the layup is the best shot in the game, but sometimes the best shot in the game is the in-between shot, in my opinion. It's not white or black. I think creativity is about gray areas. That's what creativity is. Well, I think the idea behind analytics is we're not necessarily taking any shots out of the game. If you're good enough at a shot, take it. We're taking the bad shots out of the game. That does sound like that's KD. Kyrie, that's true. That's true. Kyrie can yap a little bit, and that does kind of sound like something Kyrie would say. Now it's doing more harm than good. Now it's determining too much. Nobody's watching the game anymore. They're just looking at stats and determining if a player is good or not. So this guy's approaching it not from the lens of like analytics has changed the way that we've played, but analytics has changed the way people have talked about the game in a negative way. It's an interesting way to look at it. Some of us were middle guys in college, and you get out here and they tell you not to shoot those, so now you've got to change your whole game up. Well, yeah, because you probably suck at them. Let's say you say they've had a positive impact. It helps you figure out where a player is good or not good, helps you push a player to where he's weak. It's a player's job to get better or not get better. That's true. I think it only enhances the guys. I think it's just figuring out more efficient ways to score the basketball. At the end of the day, nobody complains about guys scoring too much in this league. Well, I don't know. That guy's obviously not on Twitter. So that might be James Harden. Infamously not online, if we remember the Gator problem during the pandemic where you had the Punisher Blue Lives Matter Gator. And Young Thug had to take to his defense online and say that he's not online to take it easy on him. I think analytics are good in the game because, look, everyone says they don't want to watch a bunch of three-pointers, and that's fair. But at the same time, I really don't think anyone wants to watch a bunch of like inefficient mid-range post-ups and high post touches. But I do sort of feel like it had a negative impact on maybe the way that they talk about the game. Do you like Adam Silver's idea of changing it to 10-minute quarters? Everyone says no. I forgot that Adam Silver even said that. Everybody said no. Fuck no was one of the responses. What about the yes? Less stress on my body, man, and maybe it prolongs my career. That's Zion. I think it because it makes games shorter, keeps fans engaged. I'd be for that. I think it allows us to play a better brand of basketball for longer, and along with some other tweaks, would allow our game to look more appealing to the eye of the casual viewer. The thing is if you cut out 8 minutes of a game, you already kind of have this talent problem in the league where there's maybe too much talent. Like, you would desperately need expansion at that point. With the league allowing more physicality on the defensive end in the last 2 seasons, is there enough balance in today's game, or is it still too slanted towards offense? Still too slanted towards offense, overwhelming favorite. It's balanced. It's getting better. It's inconsistent, undecided. And then one person voted the regular season is too slanted toward offense, and the playoffs are too slanted towards defense. That's James Harden. James Harden voted that one. Are the NBA's gambling partners good or bad for the league, and why? So if I were a player, I would understand why I would say bad, and almost half of them said bad. If I were a player, I would say bad only because I probably get the most annoying DMs of all time, tweets about fucking up a parlay or whatever the case may be. And my response will always be, you are a degenerate. Stop blaming me. Look in the mirror and call a hotline immediately for the sake of you and your family's well-being, right? As a fan, I would definitely say bad. But also as a player, man, you're going to be making life-altering money. Like, you are entering a new level of wealth that athletes have never entered into. We're probably not that far away from top-end guys getting contracts that look like $500 million. We're really not that far away from guys, and I think LeBron's already done it, but like we're probably a couple decades away from guys retiring, making billions, or maybe just $1 billion in their career. And a lot of that's because the money these companies pay. So because of that, you gotta think about it like that. Would you be in favor of shortening the regular season if it meant your salary would be smaller? Everyone said no. I still got to play 60-something games and get paid less? Hell no. No way. Let's keep it 82 games. If you're not ready for it, that's on you. You have to prepare your body. The league's 82 games plus playoffs. That's what separates us. That's LeBron. I wish we played 10-plus games, but I'm trying to make as much money as I can. I can't even lie to you. And that's it. That's the article. A lot of people watch basketball only for gambling. Yeah, and that's the way to look at it as well. Mikal Bridges, yeah, that's Mikal Bridges as well. Interesting. I always love reading these articles. We're not looking at Anthony. You guys are in rare form today. We're not looking at Anthony Edwards' bulge, guys. I mean, come on, guys. Can we fucking focus? We're not about to go look at Anthony Edwards' bulge. Like, come on. This is getting egregious in the chat. What is wrong with you guys, man? Seriously, rare form today. Rare form. Feel bad for Tyrese. Yeah, me too. I mean, it's always tough. And Tyrese Halliburton talks shit. I think he plays a certain way that, yeah, if he's not on your team, you probably don't like him. I'm afraid of the bulge. All right. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. You can watch the games with me, playback.tv/slightlybiased, or over on youtube.com/slightlybiased. See you guys there. I'll be live tonight. And I proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today. Oh, man. I'm dreading what's about to happen. Leg day. Just got to do it. Just got to do it. The battle of the bulge. What did you guys think B-Dot's stat line is going to be in his first men's league game tonight? I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of nerves and jitters for him. I think he's going to be really nervous. Like, I think he's going to be shaking. Before the game starts, I think he's going to be visibly shaking. So I'll say 9 points, 3 assists, 5 turnovers, 2 of 8 from the field. Will these stats be publicly available to us? Will these stats be publicly available? I'll come back to the stats and I will be honest. All right, cool. Would love a film study. Oh man, I don't want to go do legs at all. Anyways, all right. We'll be live tonight. Hit it, wuss. I'm gonna hit it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You don't have tree trunks like these if you're not hitting it. You know what would be fun to do on stream, like during a blowout game? And I gotta set this up. But you know, Oblivion play me. Oblivion. What's my leg day look like? Leg press. Here, I can pull it up for you right now. Four sets of 10 leg press. That's it. That's all I do. And then 4 sets of 12, some type of squat. I like, my gym's got like this squat machine that I like quite a bit that I've been using, but sometimes it's just a goblet squat. I don't like doing the barbell squats. I don't like them. Then 3 sets of lunges, 3 sets of leg extensions, 3 sets of the glute kickback machine, 3 sets hip abduction, standing calf raises, 4 sets, seating calf raises, 4 sets. You put 445s on both ends and feel like a god? On what? Leg extensions? I think leg extensions. I think we're at 545s. You streaming some RPG games? Oh, leg press, yeah. Sorry, I want to start going to the gym. How do I begin? Just go. We played. I'm always so bad with gaming. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why I'm so bad with gaming on this channel. It would be fun. But we played, what was it? Starfield. We played that on stream for a little bit, and it was kind of funny. All right, folks, thank you all for coming out. All the OGs, guys, I love you very much. Could have spent your Wednesday morning anywhere in the world. You decide to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, you guys never have to do that, but it helps you out tremendously. Makes you feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all later tonight. I'm not sure. Just stay tuned for when I schedule the stream because I'm not sure. Might wait until like halftime of the first games to tune in, but we're going to for sure watch the Rockets and Warriors tonight. I'll tell you that much. All right. Love you all. Thank you all for coming out. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.